Welcome to team training. This is a team prosperity training that we do every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. It concentrates on various parts of the making success in the industry, making success with our different components in our business model, as well as any type of personal or professional growth and help that will fuel the success that you're looking for in and outside of this industry. We always like to start with what we did last week. And last week we did a training. And once again, these are always in the YouTube channel, always in the Facebook group for you guys and for your agents that come in. We talked about a 90-day run, how to build, stabilize, and accelerate your business no matter where you are. If you're brand new, trying to get traction, if you're trying to get that initial growth spurt, if you've been in it for a while, trying to scale, create leverage and distribution. No matter where you are, you can use a 90-day run to build, grow, or scale your business. So this is on the backs of last week. We're going to get into the actual framework. What's the 30, 60, 90-day blueprint to building a real agency? Remember, we're virtual. So you guys have a lot of advantages. One of those advantages is you don't have to set up physical locations and offices. That money can be reinserted into your business model for online tools, marketing, whatever it might be. You want to create a factory. And once you create a factory, it's a lot easier to identify potential clients and partners who would make sense to go into your factory. If you don't have a factory, creating distribution is going to be very, very hard. So we're going to talk about really what is that 30, 60, 90-day blueprint to building a real agency, a real asset that you can actually step away from and will still run without you. There's two types of people that we see come in to our business. And really, when you look at the business, it's got to be treated like a business, you guys. You can put part-time hours into this, and we champion the cause of part-timers, but that is part-time hours have to be used efficiently. And they have to, most of the time, create that bridge over to full-time entrepreneurship. This is a business, and businesses run on systems. And that's really what we're trying to teach you guys. Motivation comes and goes. You cannot build a business solely out of motivation. Most agents don't fail because of talent. And that's one of the things that when you guys go out there and you're talking to other agents, the people that are in this industry, most of the time they are facing deficiencies. They don't have lead generation. They don't have booked appointments. They don't have anybody had to train, support, coach, mentor them. So as you're outside looking at the industry or inside looking at the industry and you're talking to people, understand that many of these people are on the move. And if you can put something in front of them which fixes their deficiencies, plugs their holes, fixes their problems, then you will attract talent into your organization. The people that fail, they fail because they don't treat this like a business and they don't operate as if they're a business owner. This is your business. And when you guys treat your business like a business, you're going to get business-like results. If you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get hobby-like results. Remember, hobbies end up costing money most of the time, so that's not what we want to do. This training today is going to provide a map. This is not about hype. This is about what you follow. And if you follow this framework, you'll know exactly what to do every day for the next 90 days. And this is what you're going to teach your agents. And this is going to allow you to understand who's serious about this and who's not. There are in the agency model, there's three pillars of a real agency. And it's not hard to understand, and it's really not hard to get execution in each one of these pillars. So what are the pillars? Well, first of all, you got to have income and revenue coming into your business, right? So you got to have clients. Clients are the ones that are going to, get the revenue and income coming through the doors. That's cash flow. That's confidence. That's skill development. We have an added advantage in our model where we have marketers, managers, and consultants that all work together. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes that can be all one person. Sometimes it can be three different people. But what you want to understand is that you have help if you need it for as long as you need it. Some people need help for a long period of time. Some people need help for a very short period of time. So there's not a timetable. We tell people we will hold your hand and help you for as long and for whatever capacity you need. So production comes from the clients. Clients come from a lot of different areas of marketing, comes from recruiting, other people's markets, things like that. But this is what's going to get the wheel turning on revenue and income. Now, we're all looking, or hopefully you're looking to build distribution. This is going to come from the partner side, and this is where management, this is where leadership really rises to the top. This model and really this industry and a lot of life rewards you for leadership. So if you can take a leadership-like role and teach other people, manage people, then you're going to be very successful in this business. So distribution is about partners. Now you're stepping out of that production mentality where it's all on your shoulders into where you understand how to create leverage, how to create scale, how to build equity. Remember, the greatest producer in the world is not going to take as much equity as maybe an average builder. Why? Because of leverage, because of distribution. It will always beat production. Might not in the beginning, like the tortoise and the hare, but at the end of the day, distribution's going to win. And then the third pillar is infrastructure. You have to have infrastructure. That's your systems. Remember, motivation doesn't build a business, systems do. So this is about your CRM. This is about your ability either to follow up manually or have automation follow up for you. And this is really about just grabbing hold of all these technology tools that we have today, including automation, to make your business to where most of it's running on its own, and then you're coming in and you're doing the things that you need to do to make things happen. If one pillar is missing, guys, the agency collapses, and this is one of the main things you guys want to take out from today's training. You can't skip on one of these three pillars. If you skip on production and clients, you got no money, you got no business. If you skip out on the distribution and partners, it's going to be all on you for the rest of your life. And if you skip out on the infrastructure and systems, it's just like throwing things against the wall. And I guarantee you, if you've ever like missed a meeting because you forgot to put it on your calendar, or you wrote down notes about a meeting that you can't read, or just the stuff from being unorganized, infrastructure, systems, and technology will cure that and help you if you grab hold of it. So you have to have the three pillars, you have to have them in place, and you have to get them uh, for yourself, and then you have to teach other agents how to do it. If we're all doing the same thing, it's a lot easier to fix holes 5, 6 generations down versus if we're all doing different stuff. There's businesses, companies in this industry where each one of their office basically does whatever it wants to. You can't really build distribution that way, and this is one of the things that we need to understand. Go high level, guys, is basically equals mission control. So I've worked with a lot of different CRMs, marketing systems, and to bring everything in-house, to have a central engine, a central dashboard that will run your business where you can learn it and then teach other people. That's how you're going to get a leg up on your competition. That's how you're going to create velocity in the distribution because once again, why? Systems. If you have the dashboard, if you have the engine, and you can teach other people how to effectively use that, then you're going to find it a lot easier to build distribution in this industry. Go high level is not a software, guys. It's your business headquarters. That's the way that you want to look at it. We have a partnership with Mastermind Marketing. We can get this stuff done for you, but you've got to understand that this as business headquarters functions for lead capture. It functions as a follow-up automation system, appointment scheduling, pipeline visibility, performance tracking. If it's not in go high level, it really doesn't exist. And that's the way I really want you guys to think about it. And don't look at this as software. Don't look at it as a CRM. It's your calendar, your conversations, and your follow-up all live from one place. And think about that. There's a lot of agents out there that have a CRM, they have a calendar system, they have all these different tools they're using, but they're kind of floating out there. They're not centralized, they're not connected together. You can run your entire business from here. So this is what we're going to be using, this is what we're going to be teaching, and this is how we're going to create distribution going forward. The 30, 60, 90-day framework. So this is if you're newly licensed, trying to gain some traction, coming back around, this is really what you want to master. And this is why you want to master it. The first 30 days is just foundation and activity. It's just getting used to something, right? If I'm going to go to the gym and I haven't been in a few years, part of it's just walking through the gym doors, right? So the objective here is to build habits and daily structure. Why? We talked about this over and over again. Your brain loves to do whatever it's already doing, whether that's bad habits or good habits. It's your job to point it in the right direction, get on the habitual path of good habits and activity, and it will feel like second nature. You won't even notice it after a while. The focus here areas here are learning the model. What are we doing? What's our advantages for the client? What's our advantages for the partner? How do I learn the model and then create elementary school-like language so that when I'm talking to other people, I don't confuse them. I don't talk over them. And I'm not talking in a language they don't understand. Booking conversations. In the first 30 days, any conversation, guys, any conversation to talk about your business or anything, this is where a lot of the bad conversations will happen. Why? Because you really don't know what you're talking about. That's why I implore you guys to use a script. That way, if somebody else is talking, you got your finger on the script. It's not like we're trying to hard sell somebody. It's just that everybody needs to be structured. Everybody needs to be scripted. Why? Because you don't want to turn a 3-minute conversation into a 30-minute conversation and waste some of the time of your day when you could have, ended that conversation long before because it was either disqualified or one or more variable reasons. So learning the model and then being able to break that down into an elementary like level, booking conversations and understanding the flow of client plus partner conversation. If I'm talking to somebody and I'm doing an agent interview and it comes up that the agent doesn't make a good fit, maybe they're in a captive position, whatever the reason is, I can't bring them on, I go to the other side. Do they have student loans? Do they know about the gold IUL? Do they know about a lot of the other stuff that we do? You can be fluid in your conversations. And this is why our model and having a diverse model with so many pieces allows you guys to get in front of both agent prospects, and client prospects and be allowed to pivot in the conversation. If it wants to go one way, you should be able to take that conversation there. Here in the first 30 days, the non-negotiables, you can't get past the daily outreach. That's your reps. That's your repetition. I don't care what the initial outcomes of that are. Probably not going to be great, but you have to go through the process. If you need 300 calls to feel good on the phone and you're doing one a day, it's going to take you about a year before you feel good. If you're doing 10 a day, it's going to take you about a month. So you understand that you're in control. And when you understand your numbers, you can start making data-driven decisions. Daily follow-up, going back to go high level. I've got a lot of follow-up probably happening right now as I'm teaching you guys this. So understand the power of automation and the power of what we can do with some of these technological tools. And then calendar-based execution. You don't want to look at your calendar and have a bunch of white space. So in the beginning, the first 30 days, create activity for yourself. Put in the daily activity that maybe down the road you're not going to need to put the calendar on. But in the beginning, you want to be as organized and as efficient with time management as possible. The outcome in the first 30 days is some early wins. First clients, first partners, momentum. You get a partner and a client in the first 30 days or more than that, great. That's going to create momentum. You're getting paid, you're understanding that, hey, I understand that I can do this. I got the help I need. I got the technology, the tools I need. This is for me. Now you're going to lock in. That momentum is going to start to carry you over. Confidence. That confidence is going to create the ability to do more of what you did in the first 30 days to create more results. As we move on, what's the next 30 days look like? Well, the next 30 days is really about consistency and conversion. Once you've got those early wins and a little momentum building, and you feel like, hey, I can do this, turn activity into predictability. So now in the first 30 days, we're kind of having some random activity, right? Maybe it's structured in terms of being on our calendar. We know what we need to do, but we're not really sure what it's getting. Now we're turning that activity into predictability. The focus areas here in the next 30 days after the first 30 is improving conversations. Now we've had enough conversations where we pretty much know, what we should be saying, what most people are going to say back to us, and then what happens? You can start to preemptively overcome obstacles and objections before they even come up in the conversation. Better follow-up discipline. Guys, if most leads get resolved between the fifth and the seventh contact, and most agents don't go past the first contact, how much revenue, how much income, how much growth is left on the table falling through the cracks because we weren't disciplined? Fortune is in the follow-up. Fortune will take a $50,000 earner and create a $500,000 earner just strictly from follow-up in this business. So understand the importance of improving the conversations, following up, and then you're beginning at this point in the next 30 days to identify leadership potential in partners. Remember, you're a talent scout, but sometimes draft picks don't pan out in sports. Same thing here. You may have, high hopes for somebody, but they don't really do anything. This other person comes in, you weren't really sure, and they're kicking butt. So now you're able to identify and get your little team going, or your base shop, your agency, office, whatever it is that you want to call it. The key shift here is from trying things to running a system. It's from the doing to the knowing now and running a system. The outcome here should be regularity with appointments. You got cleaner pipelines and you got repeatable results. So you're going from activity to predictability. And then the next 30 days, what we're going to do here is we're going to really ramp it up because now we're talking about duplication and direction. This is transforming from an individual producer to an agency builder. Remember, you can be a producer in this industry. It's not why I got in the industry. You can make a great living, but you're going to be always a producer. If you take days off, they're not making any money. Why? Because it's all on you. So we want to transform yourself from that producer to an agency builder. And the focus areas here are once you understand what to do, your job is just to teach other people. And that's why we're trying to break this down into a framework and a structure that all you guys can digest, all you guys can do, and all you guys can teach. If we make it real complicated, nobody can do it, nobody can teach it. If somebody has confidence in going in and knowing, hey, if I do this, I should expect these results based on what my manager's telling me, it's a lot easier to get these people going. You're plugging partners into the same system, the same marketing system, same go high level, everything that you do, you're just teaching other people to do it. Why? Because if they have problems, you can come in and help fix it. If they're running all completely different systems and software and tools, I'm not going to know how to help them, right? This is reinforcing standards and expectations. The key shift is I do to we do. Remember, you got a little team now, you got a little agency building, you got some talent starting to rise to the top, you got some people doing a little bit, you got other people doing nothing. But here, you're starting to see that shift happening. The outcome here is you should have that light bulb moment. You should see the first signs of leverage, the early agency structure, and then clear growth trajectory. Where the trajectory, once you put it on there, you can have mediocre to almost no growth for a period of time, and then it just hockey sticks with distribution and agency build out. But this is how you have to get it done. There's 90-day runs to build it. There's 90-day runs to grow it. There's 90-day runs to scale it. Now, you don't do all those back to back, but you need about 3 to 5 90-day runs in your business to really put it over the top. This is the first one that we're talking about today. Because there's some talented people in this agent are in this industry that are failing. Why is that? And how this fixes it? Why do agents fail? Well, they fail from a number of different deficiencies and problems, but this framework that you're trying to teach yourself and others removes what we call decision fatigue and replaces it with execution. Remember, execution is automatic, it's instinctive, it's already built in versus having to think about it. So, what are we doing here? The big 3 killers that's going to kill your business is poor time management, no follow up, and lack of consistency. That's not a big, long equation to figure out. If you can manage time effectively, you can learn to follow up, and you can build consistency, you're going to be successful. If you can't, these are the 3 big killers. Poor time management. No schedule equals no business. And like we said, if you're in the first 30 days, maybe your schedule is just to make outbound calls, to follow up. Just have something on the calendar so you're not staring at white space. As you get busier and you progress in the agency build out, you have more and more things to do. Entrepreneurs must protect their time aggressively. Like I was just talking about, if you're turning a 3-minute call into a 30-minute call, you're doing yourself a disservice because that time could be actually invested into something else for your business or for your personal life. Your time is your most valuable asset. You need to make sure it gets a return. You need to make sure that you protect it at all costs. So as you're building an agency, who do you give time to? Not everybody that needs it, the people that deserve it. How do they deserve it? They deserve it with activity. The second big killer is no follow-up. Fortunes in the follow-up, we just talked about that. Automation plus discipline wins. About 80% of my follow-up is automated, guys, and the other 20% comes from me manually. So if you don't have an automation sequence in place, if you don't have these tools in place, it's going to be really hard to win from an individual level. It's going to be almost impossible to win from a distribution level. And the lack of consistency. Intensity is irrelevant without consistency. Remember, you don't make the Hall of Fame in sports by having one good year. It's the consistency over the body of work, right? So you've got to make sure you're consistent in what you're doing because if you start and if you start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, it's almost like you never started in the first place. So whatever you're going to do, keep it on a consistent basis. Small daily actions compounded over X period of time. We're talking about like 1% better. We're not talking about these huge leaps. We're talking about making small changes and then being dedicated to the consistency of making this happen. The mind shift. This is like many people come in here as a participant. You really need to make sure you're teaching them to be a business owner. So what does that mean? Well, this is a business, not a hobby. So businesses do what? They track their numbers, they schedule their activity, they have follow-up systems, and especially in our case, businesses duplicate. If you have a restaurant is successful, you open another restaurant, right? No different here. What we're going to do is we're going to find success on a small basis, and then we're going to have a ripple effect that goes out and encourages other people to come into our ecosystem and find the success that we found. If someone wants freedom later, they must accept structure now. There's got to be a trade-off, right? Or the trade-off ends up being the business, right? Ends up being the personal, professional goals that you set forth. You've got to accept structure now and then teach other people to do that to get your freedom later. Every single day, the thing that you must concentrate on and think about consistently is IPAs. That's your income producing activities. This is actually the stuff that's going to move the needle in your agency. IPAs or income producing activities are actions that directly lead to things like conversations, appointments, applications, or partners. Busy work does not count, guys. So if you're doing busy work, that needs to be done in the early mornings, nights, weekends, somewhere where it's not quote unquote the meat of the day, where you should be handling as many income producing activities as possible. What are the three categories of income producing activities? Well, like you have the three pillars of your business, you're going to have three IPAs that really you need to concentrate on a daily basis. And once again, if you get a system in place and you're doing this on a daily basis and you're consistent with doing it, there's some things that are going to happen that are very positive for your business. Number one is conversation creating activities. This is the front door of your business. So think about if you had a physical business. Did anybody walk through the front door yesterday? If they didn't, it's going to be impossible to make sales, right? So examples of this is the outbound reach outs, calls, texts, direct messages, emails, responding to inbound leads. You have two types of leads. You can manufacture the interest outbound, which a lot of us have to do in the beginning. And then eventually you have money coming in. You pay yourself for the time invested in the business, but you also invest in business tools that will create things like inbound leads. So when you wake up, you have things on your calendar, you have people that are responding back. And then, guys, follow up is never going to exit the framework of the conversation. Whether you're in any cycle of communication with any prospect, it's always about the follow up, not follow up to push an outcome, follow up to resolve the lead. You create and resolve enough leads. We know from the data that we've had over the past few years you're going to get the outcomes and you're going to get the clients that you're looking for. It's a very easy equation to understand. No conversations, no appointments, no income, right? So it all starts at the top of the funnel with conversations. Contacts equal contracts. That's why we say, especially in the first 30 days, get the rocks out of your mouth. Go ahead and make those terrible phone calls. The worst phone call that you will ever make in your life is better than no phone call at all. You're only going to get good by going through the necessary approach of actually taking the activity and making the calls. And then the second is appointment driving activity. So you create the conversations, you drive the appointments. These turn conversations into scheduled outcomes. So now you're going from just a conversation into a scheduled outcome. Examples here, you're booking client appointments, you're booking partner discovery, interviews, whatever it is that you want to call it. You're confirming and rescheduling appointments, you're doing pre-call preparation. If you've gone through all the framework of creating a conversation, getting it booked as an appointment, it may be the 200th time you've done that presentation. That's the first time they're seeing it. Make sure you show up, make sure you have your game face on, and make sure you do a good job. If you created a lead, somebody else created a lead and gave it to you, do even better because they're counting on you. And the best thing that a marketer can feel is when they create a qualified lead, give it to a consultant, and it turns into an application. That's a revenue split, right? They're both happy. Now, if the marketer creates a qualified lead, the consultant doesn't close it, they should. It's not going to give the marketer the confidence to go back out there and continue to do it. A book calendar is the first real sign of a real business and business success. So as you start to turn the corner, you're looking at your calendar, you're getting more and more appointments and things to do. That's a very good leading indicator that revenue and income growth is right around the corner. And then the third one, guys, is conversion and leverage activities. These produce revenue and equity. So you have the conversations, you have the appointment, and then you have the conversion. Examples here are client education, solution reviews. Remember, your clients are your clients for life. So if they've got a policy with you, do reviews, touch base with them, send out holiday cards, whatever it is that you need to do to create your brand awareness and keep people into top of mind so that if they have changes, if they need new things happening, if they have things to discuss with you about the financial plan, it's you they're calling, not looking for somebody online. This is really getting applications submitted. This is about partner onboarding conversations and then plugging the partners into what? A system that you created so that you're not having to spend so much individual time doing the things that the system will take care of or existing training. Production creates cash flow and recruiting creates leverage. So understand that's the 1-2 volley. That's the two sides of the fence that you need to go back and forth on. They both have value and they both have meaningful connection to where you're going to be in this industry, either to your goals or not to your goals. This is what income producing activities are not. Watching training videos, tweaking your logo or branding, over researching your products, getting ready to get ready is one of the major things I see in this industry. I'm getting ready to start getting ready. That's just procrastination, guys. Let's call it what it is. And that busy admin work that could be automated. So all of these things, if it's the meat of the day, once again, where you should be doing IPAs, this is just procrastination. Do this stuff on the off times where, income producing activities, maybe it's not the right time for those. Learning supports the business. It does not replace the execution, guys. You have to execute, and this is what you track on a daily basis. Did I operate like a business owner today? High level daily metrics, outbound attempts, total reach outs. That's going to let you know. And then over time, hey, is my call activity increasing, decreasing, staying stagnant? Live conversations, follow up completed, appointments booked, appointments held. These are all going to be the things you need to track on a daily basis. If they're not tracked, consistency disappears. You're not really sure if you're growing, if you're just staying the same, or if you're contracting. This is extremely important. And then you move to the week. What do you really on a weekly basis? Is this business actually growing? Because it's the culmination of all the days into the week. Now you have some reflection points, high level weekly metrics. Hey, out of the week, now what was my total conversations? What were my total appointments booked, total appointments held, applications submitted, new clients, new partners, follow up still pending? You don't manage results, you manage activity. The activity will get the results. And that's one of the most important things that you guys need to understand is you only concentrate on what you control, which is your activity. And then this is where Go High Level steps up. Go High Level is the single source of truth. It's going to have everything for you. Your pipelines, your calendars, your conversations, your follow-up status, your weekly scorecard. You can learn everything you need to know about your business, your activity, everything. Your agency build out. If it's not in the CRM, it really didn't happen. You can run reports. You can learn everything about your business and your agency from this one central engine and dashboard that we will be using going forward and teaching you guys how to use. And we're going to just close this out real quick with how this fits into the 30, 60, 90-day plan. Remember, when you're first in that first 30 days, you're tracking activity, not perfection. If you're waiting on perfection, then you're never going to get started. Just jump in the deep end, build the habit of daily execution. That's all. You want to build the habit. And then the next 30 days, you look for patterns, you improve the conversation and follow up. And that next 30 days leading to day 90 is really about teaching partners the same scorecard, the same systems, the same approach, and you begin duplication and accountability. And this right here, guys, the call to action, if you're serious about this business and you're struggling in one or more ways, get on a call. I can help you. But if the activity is the thing that you're struggling with, then that's going to be the thing that I can't help you with. I can help you plan the activity, give you scripts, do all the things, but it's your job and your responsibility to go out there and start conversations. If you can start conversations, we can help you close those. You can learn and earn at the same time, and then you're going to hear us and see us do the same things over and over and over again until the point where you either want us to keep doing it or you say, hey, I've got it from this point. This strategy call will help you customize this 90-day plan. It will help you identify gaps in your business, set personal targets, lock in accountability. The blueprint works, guys, but only if you work it. So you can have the greatest, let's say you have a treasure map. If you don't follow the treasure map and if you don't do the necessary things to dig up the treasure, what's the map worth? Not very much, right? So you've got to work this. And then I'll close with this, guys. Motivation comes and goes. And you guys know that, I'm sure. Systems and scorecards don't. This is how consistency is built, time management improves, follow-up stops slipping, and agencies become scalable. This is how you build distribution. This is how you build an asset. This is how you become a business